Let's get straight to it. Most people don't have a consistency problem. They have an identity problem. They wake up every morning basically saying, do I like myself today? Which is kind of like turning up to a date and saying, I'll decide whether I'm confident once I see if she likes me. That's not confidence. That's outsourcing your personality. When you don't know who you are, every action becomes a debate, every workout, every decision, every dollar. But once identity is clear, behaviour stops negotiating. You don't need to hype yourself up. You don't need a mantra. You just act in a way that matches who you believe you are. Andrew Malcolm, what makes a good person, a good identity?
Well, in your mind's eye, you should be able to see your potential self, the fittest version of you, the smartest version of you, the most successful version of yourself, and aiming each day towards that. You're never going to be as rich as your potential self, but you can aim for that. You can achieve the body you want, but you can't get to the pinnacle, but you can aim for it. And the best version of yourself is waking up each morning with goals and actions and habits and systems in place to help you get closer to your potential self.
So a couple of years ago, I was in a relationship with someone and we went to therapy, and I was introduced to a concept called braving by Brené Brown. And if you don't do anything in your life this year but watch this one video by Brené Brown, braving stands for B, boundaries, R, reliability, A, accountability, V, vault, I, integrity, N, negotiation, and G, generosity. And this is what I teach my kids at home. But the key ones out of this, which I want to talk about, is reliability, integrity, and accountability, which I believe if you get those three things right, your identity is going to follow.
Yeah, you have to put yourself in an environment where accountability happens by default. If you can't hold yourself accountable, say to get to the gym every day, to work in your job or in your business as hard as you think you should be, but you won't do it without a little bit of outside pressure. So the environment is important, and accountability comes from how much you respect yourself. So if you have faults that you focus on and you let your mind drift into the negatives rather than focusing on the direction you're heading and the positives, that can pull you away from being accountable. And if you know that you're not going to hold yourself accountable, you can at least put yourself around other people that will help with that.
Yes, I'd go so far as to say, Andrew, that accountability also works in business and in personal relationships. The amount of times that people do not take responsibility for making a mistake and pass it over to someone else, 9 times out of 10. And the real people with integrity, which I find the most important thing in any relationship, whether it's in a personal relationship, business relationship, friendship, children, is owning up when you're wrong, because no one's right all the time.
Yeah, so the key tenet of being successful is to hold others more, to be flexible with others, to put less pressure on others and less critical of other people and more critical on yourself.
Correct. And if you stick with accountability and integrity, when the shit hits the fan and there's a possibility that you could be in the firing line, if you've built up credit, money in the bank, that you've shown yourself to be accountable, reliable, and have integrity, they're going to not look at you, because if you've always conducted yourself that way, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the reputation that precedes you, that's a true saying. And if people don't know who you are before you arrive, then they are going to ask around.
In business, isn't it better to say that, hey, I've stuffed up here, rather than try and cover it up? And I think of that Michael Jordan video where he tells, I think he missed 26,000 shots in his career, and he's, failure is the precursor to success. And so many people try to be perfect. In that relationship I was in, she tried to be perfect, and we are all imperfect. And that was the reason the relationship failed, because someone was trying to not be accountable, not have integrity. And the same in business as well.
Yeah, when you're starting a business or when you're investing into something, it's inevitable that you're going to make mistakes. And the sooner you admit and accept and move forward from those mistakes, the easier it is going to be for you to make progress, meaningful progress. It's when you deny or decline to reflect properly It's when you're going to fall behind, fall further behind your potential. Mistakes, of course, they're going to happen. If you're doing anything worth doing, there's going to be issues. Even All Blacks, drop the ball sometimes.
That's right. I think that, to quote Catholicism, where I came up, we're all sinners at the end of the day, and we actually identify with people who make mistakes more than people who are perfect. 3 people are perfect in the history of the world. Jesus Christ got nailed to a cross. Tiger Woods, who was the perfect golfer, but in actual fact, he was living a double life. And Lance Armstrong. When you try to behave too perfect, you fuck up.
Yeah, and that comes back to being forgiving of others and more critical of yourself. You can't over influence other people more than if they don't want to change. You can influence yourself infinitely and exponentially more than others. Stoicism is what I follow. Being critical of yourself and trying to improve yourself, that's what it's all about.
At home, we've got a big house, 3 levels, and I operate the broken windows policy with the kids. Broken windows policy, if you don't know it, was Rudy Giuliani brought it in the 90s to New York City to clean up things. If the window was broken, you got a fine by the police, or you got taken to court, or if there's graffiti on the wall, you got taken to court. You had to clean it up straight away. And this is part of standards to your identity as well as part of integrity. Then if you are critical of yourself early on little things, the higher standards will follow.
Yeah, the suggestion for anybody that's looking to start their own business or buy a business or investing into things and they haven't got started in a meaningful way yet, go clean your car. Go clean your house.
Yeah.
Clean things up, get the clutter out of your life, throw a whole bunch of old things away, and that's going to create space in your mind and get excuses away, because it's so easy when you say, oh, I want to buy a business or I want to study for a new job and a new career. Then you start cleaning the house.
Yeah, one of my kids is struggling at the moment with a few things, as you well know. And the first thing I said was clean your room. That was a week ago. Guess what?
Hasn't been done yet.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. But if the room had been cleaned, it would have taken half an hour to an hour. And then that excuse is gone, right? But now, a week later, it's still the excuse of why something can't be achieved. And what we're trying to do as investors, as owners, is get shit done. And if you don't get shit done, the little stuff, there's no way you're going to get the big stuff done. Now, sometimes you have to ignore the little stuff. But if you can't get the little stuff done when it's asked of you and demanded of you, you're just not ready for the big stuff.
Which is the broken windows theory, and why I have a lack of trust in that child at the moment with the stage in life that they're in.
Yeah, yep. And there's no point in pressuring for big stuff if little stuff can't get done. And then, Jordan Peterson has, when he was helping clients one-on-one, when they would not be able to achieve things, he would give them the simplest of assignments, like picking up the towel off the bedroom floor.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes what we imagine as a big thing and a little thing, that little thing for you is actually a big thing for someone else. And creating momentum through cleaning the house and cleaning the car gets you in this energized mood to start doing things.
Can we just touch on the identity as well, on what you visually look like? Now, we've both spoken about the fact about going to the gym, and we're going to discuss that in another episode. But even the way you dress, the way that you invest in yourself with your clothes, you choose an identity. And one of the things I encourage my kids, I'm going on about my kids all the time, is if you want to wear something a bit wacky-dacky-do, and my son wears a Russian Cossack hat all the time, and he's 12, I'm encouraging that because it's not the cookie-cutter approach. Be original in your identity.
Yeah, celebrating your nuances, and certainly 2026 is more celebrated for that than, say, when I was growing up, to fit in the mold. History is littered with eccentrics and weirdos that have been extremely successful despite that. Maybe it's because of that. And so much of success in investing in business is about standing out, especially when you're in business that is competitive with others. To be talked about is to be relevant, whether it's weird or not. Irrelevancy is the enemy for all of us.
Don't be afraid to take the mask off where you're trying to be someone that you're not, and be original. You can't be, to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can't be a true maverick with your hands in your pockets.
Yeah. And the appearance of calmness is fine, but vulnerability with those people that are going to help you, the mentors, the advisors, the friends that are a little bit further along with you, is going to help bring them closer to you and endear them to you to make them want to help you out, because none of us are self-made. All of us have had help from friends or family or mentors. And the people that close themselves off from getting help from others are the ones that don't make it.
Which is avoidance, which we spoke about in a previous episode, and something that people should actually have a look at in the first episode. Learn about avoidance, because they are everywhere. And if you're an avoidant, it's going to hold you back in life.
Yep. So knowing yourself and surrounding yourself with others, that is the key to forming that identity that you're missing right now if you haven't had the success that you want.
None of this is complicated. It's just uncomfortable sometimes. If you'd rather deal with that than keep negotiating with yourself, the rest of this channel goes a lot deeper. Subscribe if that sounds useful. If not, carry on.